Hey guys, and welcome back to the Natty Scene and the M&M update with myself, AJ, and Vicky. Say hi, Vicky.
Hi.
So guys, welcome back, and apologies that we didn't record yesterday. I don't know whose fault it was.
I'm not pointing any fingers, but somebody might have slept through his alarm.
Yeah.
Sorry, I guess that's not my fault.
Yeah, I mean,
Cool.
sleep is certainly going up in my life, and I think that's it's a good thing, and I wish that we could be saying the same for Vic. We will be soon.
I think AJ's actually stealing my sleep.
Yeah, and I think that's what's happening. I'm
People don't understand mine and AJ's relationship. We are that close. We are interconnected
Yeah.
via galaxies. So whatever he feels, I feel, and whatever he needs, he takes from me. It's like we can drink twins, but not
Yeah.
twins.
Yeah, I really need to be a bit less selfish on the sleep front and give you more.
Okay.
But yeah, that happened. So sorry, apologies about that, guys. But I'm sure that you'll just be fine with obviously getting the podcast a day late. I returned the fave by uploading a vlog yesterday instead. So, but obviously people are certainly waiting for the update, and here we are to give it to you. So hope you guys have all had a good week as well. Hope all your training and nutrition is going well at the moment, and whether you're sort of starting your prep or again sort of a couple of weeks in or something like that, it's probably quite a lot of people starting around at this point in time. The bodybuilding season is kicking off in sort of early June. Sometimes it starts off a little bit sooner with some other federations, but the main natural federations start off in June. So if you're not prepping already, then I imagine you're close, or you're off season like myself and Vicky, and just lifting weights and eating food, which is quite fun. So right, getting into things. Vicky, how has your week been? I know from insider information that it's been another bit of a different week, but probably a productive one. So how have things gone?
Okay, so this week has been, for use of a better word, frustrating, boring,
Yeah.
head fucking, emotional, all of the above. And
Yeah.
the reason why I'm saying it like this is because, do you know, one of my clients actually said to me that he thinks that we are superhuman, and that things like getting on the scales and seeing the scales erupt in a way that you don't expect it to. We know better, and we know the reasonings why these are happening.
Yeah.
And yet, you know, we should be able to control our emotions about them. And yet, it isn't the case. You know, these things still fuck you up in the head.
Yeah, for sure.
One morning I got on the scales, and then all of a sudden it tipped up and it said 120. Now 120 is the heaviest that I've been since like 2 years ago in my off season.
Yeah.
Where I was fat, you know, I was too fat. So when I saw those scales, I did have a complete and utter mindfuck, and my mood went down for the entire day. I spoke to you about it, didn't I, AJ? And we just had a little bit of rambling and that kind of thing. And then once you take a step back and you just get on with your day, I felt a little bit better because I was reasoning with myself in my head. But it didn't stop me from having that holy shit moment. So, you know, that was just one day. I mean, this morning on the scales, I was 116. So
Yeah.
actually, you know, it brought my average back down to actually losing weight this week.
Yeah.
Which is something that I was expecting, because this week I haven't trained either.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a deload week, and just taking, you know, a set off every exercise and just keeping things nice and light, nothing going to failure and all the rest of it. I went into the gym and actually started off on my deload session. I did lateral raises with 3 kilos, which is half the weight that I normally do. I got to 10 reps and my muscles were burning to the point where I was fatiguing so quickly. And this was on my first set. And I just thought, what is the chuffing point? So it was frustrating that I was failing on half the weight on my first set. But then I started getting skin flare-ups, and I had this big growth sty thing coming in my eye. My sleep's messed up, my digestion's messed up, my bloating is still bad. So all of my markers are saying that I am not healthy at the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck knows why. Don't know. My food is good, but possibly I'm not rotating my foods enough. So, you know, I might need to have a look at rotating my foods, and various other bits like that. So yeah, all in all, work has been really productive, you know?
Yeah.
I've written a few articles, I've put some vlogs up, I've done some work with supplements, where we've talked about different ways of measuring body fat and why one measure isn't very good, and so that video is going to go up. I've recorded a few more podcasts which hopefully people have seen out on Don't Fear the Weight, which is a really, really interesting one with Dave Crossland. So if you haven't heard that one, go and give that one a listen. That's a really good one to get your teeth into. We had a giggle anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, other than that, just like not training and being more productive at work. And then I had some good time with the kids, good time with Scott because he's gone away for the whole weekend with work. And that realistically sums up my week. Pretty boring as an update, but an honest one. So
yeah.
How about your week, AJ?
Yeah, well, I mean, just talking about your week just a little bit, just to touch on a few points. It's like, you know, it's like I spoke about in my story yesterday, like a lot of people take their rest days on like busy work days or times where they can fill their day up with sort of other stuff, which is great in a sense, but you don't realize like that's taxing in itself. So I bet that you've been, you know, with you being busy in a sense this week, getting lots and lots done, you feel like you've had a rest, but you don't feel as rested as you would have done if you'd literally just sat on the sofa all week, which is an impossible thing for you to be able to do. But, you know, when you look at how we want to actually like 100% maximize recovery, when we do have our days off, it is important to sometimes just take our feet completely off the gas, like both neurologically and physically. That's something that I've personally tried to implement a little bit more with my first rest day in the week, which comes on a day which I'm not as busy as I would usually be on my Sunday rest day. I just try to have some phase in the day where I'm off my laptop and I'm just not doing anything, so I can just completely switch off. I'm certainly...
Like you said, sometimes it's so impossible, you know, with
oh, yeah.
work and your mind and
not surprised.
And then running after the kids and things like that. I mean, with Scott going away as well, it kind of like put double of my workload on because
for sure.
He's not helping me with the kids. He's not helping me with the washing. I know it sounds really mundane,
but it's serious. Yeah.
It is life, you know. Unfortunately, I'm not that rich yet to afford a maid, a chef, a nanny, a butler, you know, and all the rest of it. So, you know, we are still normal people. AJ still has washing to do. You know, he cancelled. I remember he cancelled an update with me one day. It wasn't a podcast or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but we hooked up to have a chat, and you were like, "Dude, I'm gonna have to rearrange because I've got so much washing to do."
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is that case. You know, we still have washing to do. We still have kids to look after. We still have various other bits. I mean, people have said to both of us on a number of occasions, we are two of the most busiest people that they have ever known. So somebody who just has a job and a couple of kids who say that they don't have time to do this, you know, just have a look at what we do in our days.
Yeah.
We're just smart with our time.
Time management.
Exactly. That's all it is.
Yeah.
To the point where I know it seems really daft, but I really want to have more time with Scott.
Yeah.
And I schedule in an hour in my diary where everything goes off, telly goes off, laptop goes off, the phones go off, the kids are in bed, and I have that hour with my husband, and, you know, we have that together.
Yes. Yeah.
So, you know, but it's scheduled time, because I think if you don't schedule specific things into your diary or into your daily life, you just don't chip and do it.
No, 100%. Agreed. So, yeah, moving on to my week a little bit. Training and nutrition wise has been ticking over really, really nicely. So, I haven't made any significant changes to training or nutrition for quite a while. The only thing that I started implementing about, I think, 3 to 2 weeks ago was the extra rest day. So that just basically means that I have now 2 days off in sort of my training week, and I'm still running a very similar split. So like push pull legs with an upper day at the end of the week. So still hitting everything at a twice per week frequency. And in terms of what sessions have gone really, really well this week, I think the ones that have gone the best are definitely my push sessions and my lower body sessions. Both of those were just like absolutely killer. And something that I have been experimenting with from a nutritional point of view is how much food I'm eating pre-session. So originally I was having just like a sort of a very low carb and protein fat based breakfast, followed by my pre-workout meal, which would usually be oats, and that would be my only carb source apart from my intra-workout drink. in it, but around the training window pre-workout, as opposed to and then having like a lot of food post-workout. So instead, I sort of shifted things around a little bit so that I now have 2 carbohydrate-based meals pre-training, and yesterday was like the first day of me properly setting that up, and that leg session was like 10 out of 10. Very similar response to what you did when you increased carbohydrates in just that pre-workout meal. I had like just way more fluidity in terms of my energy levels. So throughout the session, I was just like really, really solid. I had no dip. I didn't feel like I was hungry at any point, and I could just train hard and consistently hard. So I didn't reach my 4th exercise and think, I want a bagel. I was thinking like, I want to keep going, and I can keep going with the session. So that session was awesome. Training wise, actually something big has changed because I've got a new gym. So yeah, it's like 5 minutes down the road. It's so close, and it's basically a very similar gym to the one that I was training at. Sometimes with the leverage squat, it's basically the same brand of gym. They just set up another one in my back garden, basically. And it's awesome. It's got loads of kit. It's got a pendulum squat. It's got like reverse squat. It's got fucking everything I could want. The pendulum's awesome. The only bad thing that I found out yesterday is it's not drilled to the fucking floor. Yeah, no shit. So I had to put 2 25-kilo plates on the front and get some big rugby lad to stand on the front of the machine. So I had my mate Brad spotting me, and then some rugby lads standing on the front of the machine to keep it static. But it was quite good because every time I came up for another rep, like the rugby lad was like, he looked scared because I was like shouting in his face. I think I spat in his face as well, and I got like really, 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 really fucking hyped up on one of my sets. But yeah, the gym's awesome, so I'm really happy about that. The only issue is the music's crap. So like I have to take myself into another environment through my headphones. Not sure if any of you guys do that, but I know that some of you have no option but to train in what I deem as shite gyms, like the gym or pure gym, and quite frankly, I just wouldn't train there. I travel half an hour to train somewhere much better. I know that it's not feasible for some of you guys, so but for me, I care so much about my sessions that the environment has to be good. I couldn't train in an environment like that. But yeah, a big tip for you guys would be to sort of put headphones in and go after it. But yeah, other than that, training and nutrition wise, been really, really good. Obviously, life wise, had a large thing go on, which I haven't really discussed online at the moment. But basically a life changing event that I couldn't control. Obviously, close friends, Vicky, etc., knows sort of what happened, but I've not really shared it online yet. I will speak about it at some point, but I'm just sort of at the moment coming to terms with it myself before I start wanting to sort of put anything out there and have people be aware of it, you know what I mean? And it's an important thing to be dealing with myself, make sure I deal with it correctly, and then also just make sure that my close friends know so they can support me with sort of how I'm dealing with it initially. But to make sure people know, like, I'm okay, I'm fine, and I will be fine, and I've got a very strong family, very awesome friends, and these things happen, and you just got to have your support network close in this sort of time. So that's certainly something that I'm doing. But yes, just to make people aware of that, and obviously it's a podcast that will sit there forever. So if I ever listen back to these, it's something that I do need to sort of signify, because it was a big life changing thing that happened. So yeah, that was that.
Again, just goes to signify that we are people, and
yeah,
we are human beings,
and things happen to us.
That's it.
Yeah.
And we've got to deal with things that life throws at us. Unfortunately,
Yep.
It's like a prep. You can write something down
Yeah.
in a linear fashion and say, right, let's set up a timeline to have this most optimal and perfect prep with deloads and refeeds and rest days and this and that, and then all of a sudden you drop a dumbbell on your foot and you break it, and then it's like, oh, well,
Yeah.
that perfect timeline all fucked up.
Funnily enough, my client AJ, he bloody busted his ankle playing football. Silly Billy. Silly Billy. But he's okay now, luckily. He sent me a picture and it was bad. I was like, what have you done? And he went to A&E and apparently it's just a really bad sprain. It was very inflamed. So luckily he gave it the rest he needs and he's back in there now. But yeah, things happen, things happen and we just got to be able to work around them. He luckily enough with his ankle is very good. So he's got his... I told him, like, get your head on, give it the rest it needs, and he just literally sat down, didn't go to work, didn't train, and just got it better. So that's how you got to deal with injuries, guys. Like, 'cause if someone like him went in and like tried to put weight on it, and you just fuck shit up really badly. So yeah. Anyway, talking a bit about prep. Today's topic we're going to talk about a little bit is just when to not prep. So I've actually made a few videos on this in the past on my YouTube channel, sort of are you ready to prep and making sure that people are aware of the tasks and the demanding aspect of a bodybuilding prep so that they know before going into it, they know, okay, yes, I want to do this or no, like, fuck that. So essentially, the first thing that I think is really, really important, and Vicky, I'll let you cover some sort of female side of things. But the first thing that I feel is really important, especially at this time of the year, and when I mention sort of people starting prep, etc., is simply a matter of time. People tend to think, especially when they start their first prep, that it's a much shorter process than they perhaps would have imagined. So I'm getting inquiries now that are for... maybe August shows, which is, not too unfeasible. It's like 21 weeks. But the reality is I have 5 clients in August shows that had already started prep. Obviously, I still have some more clients that are doing August shows. They're still in an off-season phase. Reality is they've all got different start points. So, for example, someone like you, Vicky, who, like, when we were sort of going back and forth about prep, we were like, okay, well, we'd start later purely because you're leaner and you'd stayed really, really good body comp out of your show. You're an example of someone that could start later and totally get away with it. And in fact, it would be better because you'd maximize more of your gaining phase. The reality is, coming to someone now, like I had 2 emails last week, and this happens every year, every fucking year. I have people come to me at about 10 weeks out, 12 weeks out of the bloody body power, saying they want to do a body power show. And you were literally just talking about it with a girl that you were speaking to. And the reality is, guys, like, if you are, for not being harsh or anything, but way too far gone, you're not going to get ready in 12 weeks. There's no way. You're not going to get ready in 12 weeks. And
Safely.
Yeah, safely, and just like with any muscle mass left. You're looking like Mo Farah by the end. So, like, honestly, guys, you just got to put in perspective how long it takes, right? So I thought I'd given myself enough time last year. Truth be told, for my qualifier, I didn't. I almost got beaten by James Hilton, who was peeled and had probably given himself maybe a little bit more time than me, or dieted a little bit harder, whatever which way. And I almost left the door open. I didn't. James, if you listen, I beat you. So, but it's funny, so I'm prepping James this year, so that'll be really, really fun. How tables turn. But yeah, he showed up in condition and like he pretty much almost beat me. And a lot of people could have had him first easily. So, you've got to really put in perspective, like I said, the time that it takes. So by the end of the year, by Boston, I'd prep for 45 weeks. Now, needless to say, did I sort of improve conditioning by having those extra ones on top of the BMBF finals? Probably not. I think the sort of where my condition peaked was around about the BMBF finals, which I believe was about 34 weeks total prep. So I know if next time I have that similar amount of weight to lose, which ended up being about 35 pounds, total across the prep. If I have that similar amount of weight to lose, then I know I need to give it that block of time at least, because I look at my prep last year and I'd say it was a pretty efficient prep. I was losing at a good rate. I didn't have any real stalls. I was able to reverse diet a little bit at the end after the BNBF finals. So it was a very efficient prep. And you know, the same thing, just covering up and finishing the topic of time, is if you give yourself enough time, you're able to actually, at the end of your prep, start the reversing process before you finish prep. So you've now got the ability to actually adhere to a reverse diet because you've got the end goal of another show. So you're able to slowly work your calories up to potentially maintenance levels, sit there so that when you end your prep, you've done your final show, you're peeled, you're inside out, you're full, training performance is good, and your calories are higher. So when you finish, you don't feel like eating the whole of Papa John's. You can actually eat food. Like when I was finishing my diet, I got DMs after DMs as to how I was eating so much food. The reality was I was still in either a very slight deficit or maintenance. And the amount that I was burning through steps and caloric expenditure, no shit as to why I was able to eat that amount of food. I was burning through truckloads of calories and my metabolism was very efficient. Vicky's dog in the background. And so yeah, that's something that I think is really important, is time. So that's the point that I really want to hammer home. Now, Vicky, what do you think, like, in terms of girls potentially coming to you and sort of like, you know, what would it be different in terms of male versus female? What's really signifying in terms of a female potentially not being in a situation to get contest lean? Because we know a lot about females being on super low calories, hormonally being in a bad place. So what do you think in terms of like when you get a female coming to you and it would be sort of red lights?
Well, to be perfectly honest, I think it is actually going to come down to the condition of the person, the mindset of the person, what their off-season diet has looked like, and again, time.
Yeah.
You know?
Yep.
I mean, it really, really is. I mean, I have now had to put in place for my contest prep clients a vigorous application form. And it's
vigorous.
Vigorous.
There's so much emphasis on that.
It really was. What I really hate are these, I'm going to use the bunny rabbit ears, because I really hate using the bunny rabbit ears, but I'm going to use them. I really hate these prep coaches who take anybody on within any time limit and go, yeah, no worries, we'll get you ready for the show. Just don't worry, we got this, you know, and they have no background. They have no idea what these people have been doing in their sessions previously. I mean, I want to know how much people are lifting, how they lift. I want videos of their intensity and how they deadlift properly before they even start a contest prep.
Do you ask them about their cycle and things like that? And also, like, would you feel comfortable prepping a female that had lost their cycle? And is there any way to sort of look at that and think, okay, you've lost your cycle, but we're in a position where we can prep because, you know?
Definitely. I mean, I lost my cycle in 2014. It has never returned.
Yeah.
Never returned. And that was through an extremely bad prep. That was on, how many weeks did I do on that? I think there was about 20 weeks of nothing, no fats. It was just incidental fats.
Dear.
So literally lower than 10 grams a day I was on.
Skin must have been very dry.
Oh, it was disgusting.
Yeah, it must have been like peeling.
Yeah, my lips were always really tight. My skin was actually fairly transparent and like paper thin, you know, because all of the tilapia that I was eating. And my hair was brittle and my nails never grew. And like I said, my menstrual cycle just kind of dried up. Now, the thing is, when I do have clients who have come to me saying, yes, I lost my menstrual cycle, but it returned, that is just one of those fundamental things that happen in prep. Sometimes it's not a question of if it's going to happen, it's a question of when it's going to happen.
Yeah.
If you are going into those really lean stages, now don't get me wrong, some girls who are going for Physique transformation, for example, will never lose their menstrual cycle because they don't need to be that shredded. And then again, for like junior bikinis, I've had a couple of girls who have competed in junior bikini, they've never lost their cycle and they've won. You know, because they've managed to get into the condition, but we've done it safely and we've done it properly. We haven't just kind of gone, right, have bloody tilapia, spinach and fucking nothing else for 16 weeks in order to get you there. And if you still think that that is what you need to do in order to get you there, maybe for 2 weeks because you're still holding a shitload or you haven't stuck to something, then yeah, all right, maybe for 2 weeks you can go down to 800 calories.
Yeah.
But if you want to do that for 16, 20 weeks, think again. That just isn't going to happen. It's not healthy at all.
Not fun either.
No, I mean, who the hell wants to do a white fish and greens diet for freaking 16 weeks? It's ridiculous.
No.
But no, in regards to people who have lost their menstrual cycle completely and it's never come back, I do have a couple of clients who have come to me in actually trying to get their health markers back on track. So the first thing that I will do is ask them to get their bloods done.
Okay.
You can easily get your bloods done through the GPs. The minute you go to the GP and you say, I've lost my menstrual cycle, they will run a whole barrage of bloods for you. If you can't do that, then just give me a DM or whatever and I'll tell you who can obviously do these bloods for you. And we'll have a look at your blood markers. Now, as long as your blood markers come back and you are relatively in okay levels, then yeah, okay, we'll still continue to prep. And as long as your body fat levels are quite good, you know, you're still not stupidly lean to the point where that is causing detrimental effects on your hormonal balance, then yeah, okay, we'll look to do it. But what I do really like doing with my female clients, especially bodybuilding clients, or athletics, so like the more leaner versions of female classes, what I like doing with those is working with them for at least 3 to 4 months in their off season, so I understand how their body works, I understand their menstrual cycle if they do have one, what kind of fluctuations happen with them, and then we will see if we're in an optimal position in order to start prep.
Sure.
Because if you just kind of go on and say, yeah, all right, we'll start prep, you know, what the hell happens with that? I mean, I've got a girl who I've been working with for a year. We had a really, really nice off-season, adding some lean tissue into it, and then she was like, right, I want to prep. All of a sudden, she changed her mind and said, I don't want to compete, but I still want to prep because I want to do a photo shoot. Okay, absolutely fine. Very happy with that. I'm gutted because she looks fucking phenomenal. But it's her decision. Last night we had a little bit of a chat and everything. She's about 4 weeks away from this contest prep. Photo shoot. She's still eating around about 2,000 calories a day, which for a female is bloody amazing.
Good, yeah.
She's still lifting heavy. She's still healthy. Everything else. And then she asked me a question about borrowing calories for the weekend because she's actually out and about visiting family this weekend. So, you know, I gave her my answer and I said, when this comes to contest prep and you're 4 weeks out, we need to be a little bit more stringent and, you know, it's every single day you can't be borrowing calories. This is the way that I do my preps. And then this big long message came through about being completely honest and saying, actually, I've really decided I really don't want a contest prep, not after going through this particular phase of this journey just to get photo shoot lean, because she's nowhere near stage lean. She looks great, but she's nowhere near stage lean, but she is beautiful for a photo shoot now because we've obviously tailored it back. But if she is seeing these effects 4 weeks out from photo shoot prep and really not feeling it and not enjoying it, she's made a really mature decision to say, actually, contest prep just isn't for me. Yeah. Which is, you know, absolutely bob on. And I said to her, I'm really proud of you that you've picked up on this fact now and not 4 weeks away from a competition where you've got your heels, you've got your bikini, you've gone through all of this shit. You are going to be leaner and on less calories. And she did wave a red flag and say, actually, my menstrual cycle is 10 days late, and I know that this happens when we're low on calories, which I think there is something else going on there, because at 2,000 calories and still like 60 grams of fat for this particular individual may still be low, but it's still relatively high, you know, for a female to lose her
body fat set points just might be quite high for her.
Exactly. Oh, yeah, she has got, you know, her body fat's come right down. I mean, on her upper half, there's nothing there, you know. She's got an 8-pack, visible 8-packs.
Nice,
you know, and she's beautiful, absolutely beautiful, but she does carry a lot on her bum.
Yeah.
So that's where her body fat is, which is what most females are like. But yeah, I mean, so that's what I would particularly do with females. What about if you have a client who's absolutely desperate to compete,
Yeah.
but they're really just not anywhere near?
Muscular enough.
Yeah, I suppose so. Let's go muscular enough.
So they're not muscular enough, is that what we're saying?
Yeah.
Okay. I'll just be very, very brutally honest with them. I literally will say you've not got enough tissue to compete. And it's so clear. It's so clear with people that just do not have the tissue. And I will tell them, I will just say up front, like, no. And a lot of the time, it's the people that come to me saying, I want to win this, or I want to win that. Like, they just want to win. And I'm like, if you want to win, you like, there's no chance. I just said, like, there's no chance. I know the caliber of, the competition that you're going to be up against. And I would tell them, you're not going to win. You'd be lucky to place at a regional show at this stage. And it's simply because they haven't given it enough time or consistency in their gaining phases, because they think that prep is actually where they're going to magically build this physique. When no, like, you need to have the base, you need to have the whole background of basically running a prep, but with enough calories. Like, you need to be in the gym consistently, eating your food consistently, and that needs to be your priority, not, dieting and expecting to grow into the show or something ridiculous like that. It's not going to happen. The only thing that is going to happen when you diet is the illusion of getting bigger. But if you don't have the tissue there initially, you won't look that good when you diet down. You just look skinny fat. And there's no point in you dieting down anyway, because it's just an absolute waste of time. So with those people, I will literally say, I'll happily coach you, but you're going into a gaining phase, and this is a timeline that I want you to be in a gaining phase, and it might be as long as 2 years. And some people, the very dedicated, will say, sure, let's go, let's do it. And I have clients like that know that they're not in a position to compete or be competitive as they want to be competitive, and they will give it the time. And kudos to those people, because when they step on stage, they're going to do well. And other people have still unrealistic goals, and they want to go and do them on their own, and that's fine. Go to another prep coach, be prepped, go through the process. But to be honest, mate, I'd rather see that happen than put them through a process which I know is really tough. I know they haven't developed the passion or the love for it yet, and they'll eventually quit, or because they'll find out how tough it is, and they'll look in the mirror and think, fuck, this isn't worth, it's not worth looking like this when I'm feeling like this. When I looked in the mirror, like, in my first prep, and I was, like, feeling really crappy, I still wasn't that lean, because I simply didn't have enough tissue to be that lean as other people. Like, you look at people who have tons of tissue, when they get lean, they look awesome, because they're muscular. And when I looked in the mirror in my first prep, I was like, I feel horrible, and I'm not disgustingly peeled. But when I looked in the mirror last year, when I was on those really tough days, when I just feel like fuck. But it was rewarding, because every time I looked at myself, I was like, cool. Like, I look good. I look really cool. And I was happy with feeling like crap, because I had lines in my arse, and I had a fully striated quad. I like that. That's cool. But I'm not going to put someone through the pain of feeling like that, to look like they've got a soggy arse and no tissue left. Like, that's pointless, in my opinion. Yeah, because you just end up looking rubbish and feeling rubbish, and
you would feel out of place.
Yeah, and I couldn't put someone up on stage like that, unfortunately. I'm in
complete agreement with it. I really am.
I've said to some of my slightly more under-muscled clients, and actually had a client last week tell me he didn't want to prep, because I told him, I was like, the reality is, mate, you're on pretty low calories already, and your only selling point is going to be your condition, because you've got nice shape, nice structure, but you'll need to be absolutely diced to the socks to do really well, because you're under-muscled, and there's people coming in the class that you're going to be coming into that are going to be much bigger than you. And I said, this isn't a worry because, you know, I beat people last year that were 30 pounds heavier than me. If you put some of my pictures side by side with like Taff, I look pretty good in some shots comparative to him. And I was able to push him because I was peeled. If I wasn't peeled, Taff would have looked 10 times bigger than me because he is. If we were the same, if we were the same level of body fat, Taff would have absolutely shat all over me because he would have had more muscle mass and equal condition. But because my condition was better, sorry Taff, you're super muscular, but I was in better shape. I, you know, if I didn't have that, I wouldn't have been able to push him at all. And Taff knows that, by the way. That's not me being cheeky, because I came off stage and he was like, you're peeled. And I was like, you're massive. So we know each other's faults and sort of positives. And it's a good job that next time I'll be on stage, I won't be up against someone like that, because I'll be in a weight category. So hopefully the way that I'll work it is I'll be right at the top of the weight category, so I have no stupid mass monsters to beat. And I can just be peeled and one of the biggest. So yeah, I think that's something I'm very honest about with my competitors. Is I'll be like, these are your strong points, like this is what we need to be really good at, and this is what we need to chase. And then that gets it in their head that they know their quality competitor if they start, you know, working towards their selling points, their strong points. You know, like Brian Whitaker won a world championship as a lightweight. He beat the middle and the heavyweight. Why? Because his strong point was absolute razor sharp conditioning. And if you can do that, if you can beat middleweights and heavyweights at a world championship at the peak level, if you can win purely based on conditioning, you can do that at regional and British finals damn easily, because there's going to be people that are way out of shape compared to you if you bring it. And the only way that you can bring it is, what have you got up here? Are you mentally strong enough? Have you given it enough time? And are you muscular enough? That's it. That's literally it. Have you got the guts, and have you got the muscularity? If you've got both of them and you've given it enough time, you can get inside out peeled. It's up to you. It's up to you. It's all in your hands. And so many people don't want to take it there. So many people won't ever do that. You can. I can. Jack Thorburn can. We'll actually give him some kudos this podcast. Jack Thorburn can fucking take it there. Hats off to him. He legit, hands down, is the most peeled person I've ever seen in person. Ever. I remember doing a pump up session at Ultimate Fitness with him, and we posed in the changing rooms after, and it was dog shit lighting, and there was nothing left on him. Absolutely, like, he'd taken off everything. So, you know, he may eat way too much protein, but he knows how to get inside out.
Because he's sponsored by the meat man.
Yeah.
He gets the meat sweats.
Yeah. Thermic effect, that's why he's so peeled. He's got so much thermic effect of protein. It's like churning out so much energy.
Completely. We do love you, Jack, honestly. I know that we burn you a lot, but we do love you.
Nice. He's a super cool guy. Yeah. Cool. Right.
So that's good. I mean, one thing, I did put it on my story actually just before we came up. One thing that I do really want people to understand is honesty. You know, the one thing that me and AJ are together and what makes us very, very unique, as almost like, I want to call us like a power couple, because I suppose we are in a way. But the one thing that splits us apart and keeps us together so much is pure, open honesty.
Yep.
And it really is, you know, I mean, AJ didn't speak to me about something, and I sent him a video, almost a telling off video, saying, what the fuck do you think you're doing, not actually speaking to me, you little shit.
I fixed that, though. I eradicated the issue.
You did eradicate it, which is perfect. But that's what we strive to be with our clients as well. I mean, I have come to me who are prepped by very well-known coaches, and they come to me for some posing practice just because of the simple fact that I'm in the area. So they come to me, they take off their clothes, and I go, how many weeks are you? Or how many weeks are you out? And he said, 7. I went, wow. I had to be so open and honest with him. It probably deflated him a little bit, but I think that if I just kind of went, yeah, all right, you got this. The guy has no legs. Now, don't get me wrong, I bigged him up and I gave him every single positive that I could give him about his physique. He had beautiful balance. He had nice structure. In comparison, if he had physique competitor type thing. But he wants to go into classic. Now, classic, you need good legs. You know, have you seen Bob Waterhouse when he does his classic routine?
Oh, ridiculous.
Yeah. Fucking hell, that guy is beautiful. I mean, even my mum had the hot for him when she saw him on stage.
Yeah.
She was just like, what the hell? He's beautiful. I was like, all right, mum, calm down. But you know, his balance and his legs compared to his upper body, that beautiful X shape, that classic Arnold Schwarzenegger look, you know, that he
so
has
cool.
Is second to none. He was beating Matt's monsters on PCA, and he's a natural guy, and he just looks incredible. This guy came to me. He's got nice shoulders. One lat's bigger than the other, you know, which you can kind of hide through posing, but it's still bad. No legs, no hamstrings, no calves, no ass, you know, no lower back, and he was still fluffy. 7 weeks out, and the guy is still fluffy. He had visible forearms, nothing else. And, you know, he posed for me, he did his quarter turns, he had some nice poses, and I said, okay, do you want me to be brutally honest? Because that is what I am brutally honest. He said, yeah, so I said, you either need to get completely fucking shredded and diced to the point where your physique really stands out, or you just don't do it. And the reason why I'm saying that is because your physique is boring.
Yeah.
And I know that sounds harsh, and it does sound like I'm a complete and utter bitch, but if he's going to be on stage with 20 other guys...
He needs to look shit hot.
He needs to look shit hot, you know? He's got this thing in his mind, it's like, I want to win that qualifier, I want to win that regionals. It's like, well, you're either going to have to put yours... I mean, he's 7 weeks out, he's doing this... No, I'm not going to talk about the methods, because I think it's fucking crazy. But,
mind blown.
Mind blown for methods type thing. 7 weeks out, the guy's busy and all the rest of it. He's not on super low calories, and you can tell. You know, he's watery, he's holding a lot more fat than he should be doing at 7 weeks out. I showed him a picture of one of my competitors that are going in 7 weeks out. I'm like, this is 7 weeks out, and we've still got fat to drop.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh, holy shit. I was like, yeah, you know, so you either need to go on the tilapia and fucking broccoli diet for the next 7 weeks, compromise all the muscle that you built on your upper half, because that's where it's going to come from.
Not a good plan.
You've got no muscle in your lower legs, or you pick a different show.
Yeah.
But quite honestly, if you do not get diced to the point where you are a roadmap vascularity and everything sticking out in the right places and hitting your poses absolutely perfectly, you will not even get looked at. You'll come out first or second or third on stage. The judges will look at you and go, right, okay, he's boring. Who else is on stage?
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
You need something to make you stand the fuck out, you know? I mean, I'm going to use myself as an example with the girls that I was on stage in my qualifiers. I had red fucking hair. And that was just to kind of showcase my personality, because I was a little bit mad and crazy anyway, and it matched my bikini really nicely. But looking at my qualifiers, you look at me compared to the other girls on stage, I was shredded to shit.
Yeah.
And my condition is what separates me from anybody else, because I will go that extra mile to get that fucking striated glute. Women, nobody on that stage, I'm sorry I'm getting really angry and ranty, and I don't need to be ranty, but nobody on that stage, qualifier, finals, or anything like that, had glutes. Nobody did.
Yep.
Not a single one. But as a female, getting shredded glutes, it's hard. You want to get to the point where, especially in bodybuilding classes or athletic classes or something, where everything is based on condition, or bodybuilding's got size as well. But if for a condition-based class, you want to bring condition. You go on and you're holding water, and people are just like, oh yeah, it's all right, it's water. Nah, mate, it's fat.
Yeah.
Because water holds in fat. Get rid of the fat, you don't hold water. There's no way that I look watery. I was shredded, dry, and there was not an ounce of fat on me. 4 weeks later, I was body scanned with Dexter, and I was 7.7% body fat. 4 fucking weeks later. So God knows what the hell I was on stage. You know, people put these pictures up, and they're like, oh, I'm 6 So it's unrealistic measures, but if you get it done properly and you have a look at it and you want to take yourselves into those dark places, because I had dark places in that prep. You know, I spoke to you a few times throughout that prep and was crying on the phone going, fucking hell, I'm having a dark day. But guess what? I'm still ticking these boxes. I'm still walking outside.
That's the fun. That's the fun of it.
Exactly.
I miss it already.
So, not as much as I miss you. But yeah, so take home points for today, guys, because it has been a little bit longer as well, because it is something that we're very, very passionate about. Take home points. If you do not feel that you are ready to prep, don't fucking prep.
Yep.
Take that little bit more time out. You know, I mean, I've got it in my head that I want to compete this year. After this week, or after these last 2 weeks, a big voice in the back of my head is kind of overtaking that, saying, actually, is it going to be optimal? Maybe not. And I'm having a serious word with myself about it all.
Yeah.
But it's more important to get things aligned before you start putting yourself into that dark place.
Yeah, get yourself in a position so you can attack it, basically. Give it your all. You wanna be fueled up, ready for it, both mentally and physically, and have all the stars aligned, or at least as many of them as you can. Cool, guys. So we'll leave it there. Usual picture.
Get ready.
Oh shit.
Oh, what have we got? Get your epic up.
3,
3, 2, 1.
Cool. Wicked.
Make sure you put the tags in as per usual, guys.
Yeah, thanks, guys.
We both love you lots, and we will both speak to you next week.
Cool. In a bit. Bye.